Hello there, welcome to episode 2 of Gregkru May We Watch Again. Me and Owen have just watched episode 2 of the 100 Earth Skills, which originally aired on the 26th of March 2014 and brought in 2.27 million viewers, which is slightly less than the pilot episode, but not too much. But we're going to dive straight into the synopsis, taken directly from Prime Video. So, after discovering that Jasper may still be alive, spoiler alert, Clark, Bellamy, Octavia, Finn, and Monty set out to locate him and are shocked at what they find. Oh boy,
It's quite shocking indeed.
it is very shocking. But also, how
Yeah.
wrong is that synopsis? Because Octavia didn't go, and neither did
Yeah.
Monty.
Yeah. I don't know why. Yeah, they got that really wrong. Yeah.
In
And I
fact,
also don't really get the name of the episode, Earth Skills.
do you know what I think it's from?
What?
It's from the very small, subtle things that you probably wouldn't notice unless you're like me, who looks at everything.
Right.
Is Wells, one, he made a shovel at some point between episode 1 and 2 for when he was
True.
burying the bodies, and 2, he
Yeah.
made a backpack out of materials as well.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean,
So,
last week when you asked me what I think happens in this episode, you said that episode name, I was thinking like those sorts of things where they're going to make things out of other things, and they were going to make a house and make a, I mean, yeah, it didn't really go that way, but
it didn't.
no.
But there were some Earth skills. I guess they killed that cougar, whatever it was, later on in the episode and ate it for
Yeah,
dinner. I guess that's an Earth skill, maybe? I don't know.
yeah. I mean, hunting is like a earth skill, so I would count that, sure.
But the biggest shocker, Jasper's alive.
Yeah, and there I was sitting there saying, "Oh, it's great! They killed off a character, and it took a lot of balls to do that, and they didn't even kill him off."
How
But
wrong you were.
yeah, but I mean, in another sense, it was cool because it was unexpected to see him actually still alive. I thought that
Mm.
he was just a cannon fodder character to die and to add tension, and turns out nope, they've got more story for him to go through yet.
It was so hard biting my tongue and going along with, yeah, they killed off character in first episode.
Yeah,
Like,
I was. You didn't give it away at all. I was completely in the belief that he was dead and that was it. But
it's
there you
so
go.
difficult. It is so difficult, especially like with the introduction. Obviously, we met Raven in this episode, who is one
Yeah,
of my favourites. She's one of the
she's
ones I
cool.
met.
Oh, I
She is
see. Okay.
cool. Yeah, she oh, it was just hard waiting for that. I'm jumping right ahead here, but jump into that end bit where Finn gave Clark the little thingy sculpted, and then it like transitioned into the thing that she wears around her
Yeah.
neck, and it's like, oh, and I was biting my tongue that whole episode, thinking, I know who her boyfriend is.
Yeah. There you go.
But yeah,
So obviously there'll be some drama. I mean, that makes you really know that like there's a big conflict there coming because
yeah,
you know
they
you can
planted the seed.
you can see Clark, I guess, falling for him and that whole thing happening a bit, even
Yeah.
though he's got this god awful hair.
He's so bad. He's got a
Uh,
baby face and hair that should be on a man, and it's
yeah,
like, no.
no, he just
But
doesn't pull it off.
Bellamy's hair is better
Much
this
better.
this episode.
Bellamy was really, yeah, he was looking like a big, strong, muscly man this episode. He had his shirt off, he had his shiny abs and nipples out. It was all
He
there.
did have his nip-nips, didn't he?
They were all on show this episode.
For us all to see.
Yeah, and enjoy.
Everyone is just so shiny in this show. Like,
They are.
that,
It's the shiny
I know
show.
I said to you when we were watching it, when Clark was in the little drop ship and whatever she was, I don't even know what she was doing, but you could see like her shining, like her face was glowing, her arms were shiny. I was like, she's so shiny, she's so glowy.
Yeah. I think it was more so in this episode than the last episode as well. She was more shiny and glowy, and there was all that going on, and we had a glowy butterfly and all that. So
Oh
we had
yeah,
plenty of glowies, and much less glowing in the spaceship, which was nice. A
yes.
lot less lens flares.
There was that lens flare. The only time I saw a lens flare was when Raven came in
Yeah,
from the spaceship,
yeah, that was
from outside and
they
into the spaceship.
I mean, I didn't really have a problem. I don't ever really have a problem with lens flares. So like, even if there was slightly less than the last episode, I would have been like, "Great, you did a great job." But they almost completely got rid of it in this episode. So, well, fair enough. I guess maybe they got a memo or something
They
saying
watched the
it's
pilot back and were like,
yeah,
"Oh."
oh yeah, maybe we should tone it down a bit. It's a bit ridiculous. Like,
Yeah, they
um,
still sort of kept, I think, the white balance in the scenes up in space is still like quite. I still don't know. I should do my research. Low or high, whatever. It's still slightly like blue in
yeah,
comparison to the ground, which is very green,
yeah.
obviously, because I guess they're surrounded by trees.
Yeah, there's definitely it feels like when you're in the up in the space station, it's like it's very grayscale. Like there's not much color. It's very like gray and blacks, and with the
Mm,
occasional light, you know, with the occasional bright lights and stuff on the walls and stuff. But when you're down on the Earth, it's much more like bright greens and you know a lot more
yeah,
colorful, which is nice. It's a good contrast.
it's like it's sort of having done media studies as well and like looking into codes and conventions, it's like
Mm.
they're doing like the spaceship and up on the ark is like death, it's dull and they're all gonna
Yeah,
die,
it
and
yeah.
it's life on Earth.
I 100% agree with you there. Like, I feel like they're really trying to almost make being on the space station a worse
Hmm.
fate than actually being on Earth, even though Earth is quite dangerous and everything. But right now at least, it makes it feel like Earth is where you want to be,
Yeah.
even though there's cougars and scary men with spears apparently.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there are a few things that, from a technical side, I really like enjoyed in this episode. So you have like, I really enjoy like codes and conventions like that, where they use a certain color for a certain reason to foreshadow things and whatnot.
Mm.
But there was, going back to those glowy butterflies. What are they, like bioluminescent butterflies? I guess is what you would call them.
Yeah, neon butterflies or something.
Yeah, the little when Octavia first saw it and it was like a close up of her face and you could see it reflecting in her eye, like little details like that. I'm like, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, boy. Oh
Yeah,
yeah."
definitely, definitely. I still like. I will still. I say that it's a great episode. I love the pacing of each episode so far. It's definitely feels like a lot happens in each episode, which I really like. I can't stand the shows that have like too much filler or like you just sit there and you feel like you haven't really watched something. You've just watched like scenes after scenes, but nothing really happened. But
Yeah.
every episode, stuff happens and like plot moves forward and new different characters move forward in their story and their arcs and everything, and they're setting up stuff quite interestingly, and yeah, I feel like they're really so far it's really firing on all cylinders. I had a couple of gripes, but for the most part I was happy with it.
I do get it. It's quite chaotic, which sort of like then when we come down to this part where we're talking about it, it's like, oh, let's start from Jasper's alive, but then that leads into something that happens at the end because they've also then linked it as well. So
Yes.
something that happens at the start then comes back at the end. It's like, oh, well, we're talking about this. I then have to mention this quickly, and then it's like, oh
Yeah.
God, where were we? Where did we get
Yeah,
to? And it is very
definitely.
chaotic. But
Yeah.
there was one bit at the beginning that I think was meant to be so chaotic that I just couldn't help but have a little giggle to myself, was right at the start after the recap and they're running through the forest and something about the shaky camera and
Yeah.
the type of running they were doing, and
Yeah.
I was just like, I can just picture them fake running in a set, like that's all I could
Yeah.
see.
It I think it has got this issue of it's not, yeah, it doesn't really convey what it wants sometimes very well. Like if we want us to be a bit panicked, it doesn't really get me there. It just sort of makes it seem silly. Like
Hmm.
even the fight not long after that. Can't remember who the fight was between now. There was that
Oh,
knife fight. Who was it? It was Wells
Wells and,
and
oh, what's his name? I like him. What's his
yeah.
name?
I
My
you're the expert. I
oh my
don't.
god. I know his name because I love him.
Yeah,
His name is
is
his
Schlooby
name is oh Jesus.
Gobbledygook
Cheese. His name is,
Dreamboat.
I know his real name. Let me Google him. I'm doing it on. I can't even. I can't
But
even spell.
either way, yeah, the fight there again, like it was great, but it was so much like shaky cam and like really weird cuts and stuff. Like you
Mm.
didn't really like get a good sense of the actual fight. It was just so like all over the place, like chaotic, like
Out of nowhere.
yeah, and it was just a bit like, I don't know. I like to be able to actually see what's going on when there's like a fight going on a little bit more. I get that they have to probably, well, that's the way they choose to do it because it's like easier to fake it, fake the fight when the camera's jitting around everywhere. But I don't know, that does irk me a little bit when
Yeah.
you're trying to watch a fight and the camera's like shaking around and like panning around this very otherwise interesting scene, but you just can't really get into it because the camera's cutting every 5 seconds to like different people and like different angles of the fight, and it's, yeah, and I mean I felt like that was a bit annoying, so I
Yeah, I
get what you
feel
mean.
like the only time you realised that there was contact in that fight is when you heard like the sound effect of the
Yeah,
knife slicing
yeah.
someone. It's like, oh,
Otherwise, you would have just been like, "Oh, I didn't really, you didn't see it happen. You just kind of hear it more. It's like a weirdly audio fight only kind of for us, like watching it, like because 90% of that fight was just shaky cam and quick cuts to other people and stuff like that. And
yeah,
yeah, and yeah, I definitely felt the same with their little scene at the opening bit where they're running and they hear him scream and they're like, trying to make it all dramatic and serious, and you're just like, wow, yeah.
yeah. I get yeah. His name is Murphy.
Murphy, there you
That's it, John Murphy.
go.
But
Oh,
there was a few like corny things like that as well that like oh really got me. And I know as soon as I heard it, I said it when we were watching it. Was when Bellamy brought back the cougar, whatever it was,
oh,
and they realized it was food, and the guy in the background was like, "Yeah, Bellamy, yeah." I was like, oh my god,
yeah.
what is this?
Oh,
Oh, but
yeah, yeah,
another sort of technical thing that quite bugged me a bit in this episode as soon as I noticed it is I think I understand why they're doing it because it's if they didn't do it, it'd be eerily silent a lot of the time. But I feel like there is a slight overuse of background music, whether it's just instrumental or actual music. There is always some sort of music going on in the background. And I
yeah,
know in TV and films you have to have like background noise. But like sometimes you could probably get away with like just a bit of ambient noise or a bit of like talking in the background. But I heavily noticed, especially in Octavia and Atom scenes, that there was dramatic music playing or cheesy
yeah.
music
I guess
playing.
yeah, I didn't pick up on it too much, but yeah, I guess now you say that it does ring a bell that there was a lot of it, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
That didn't irk me as much personally, but I can see that. I can see where you're coming from with it, definitely. Yeah.
Next episode is gonna bug you to
Maybe now
hell.
you said that. Maybe now I'm gonna be like listening for it, and I'm like, yeah, it's quite annoying. But yeah, I don't know. It's not something I picked up on, but maybe it's just because I'm like really because it's my first time watching it. I'm more paying attention
Yeah.
to like the characters and the story and what's going on, and more or less that side of things where you're probably picking up more of the technical side things and like
Yeah, I don't
things
have
like
to
that.
pay attention as much.
Yeah, yeah. Where I'm just like, oh yeah, this is happening, and now yeah, and because I mean, it does feel like if you take your eye off it for a little bit, you're missing some good plot points or things that are going on with characters. Like it doesn't skip a
Yeah.
beat. This show, it doesn't. It
You
keeps you
can miss
going.
something so easily
Yeah,
because there is so much going on.
there is. Um,
But
I do. I don't know if well, I do find it funny that they've got this sort of this stereotypical like Asian guy that's like really good at tech and everything, and the smart guy. I do find that quite funny. I did
yeah,
pick up on that. They're like, you're the smart one. You can't go, and I'm like,
it's so
oh,
cliche.
it's a bit like, yeah, okay, I see what you're doing there a little bit, but
There are
it's
lots of
procedural.
tropey characters that you mentioned. They
It
have to
is.
have them.
They have to have them. You have to have and he's going to be the one that's like, we need a fusion reactor core to power up the what's it majig thing to get the radio signal to the space station. Like you know what I mean. He's going to be
Yeah.
that guy probably.
But we also have the smart stereotypical Asian nerd, but we also have the smart Lady Raven that we met
Yes.
on the ship.
Who
Good
came
old
into the show with some
mechanic.
A tier CGI from her coming into the space station from space,
Yeah, her
but definitely
spacewalk.
definitely didn't look like it was playing off a PS2 sort of era.
Oh no.
I mean, I'm not going to go too hard on it because it's CW and their kind of shows, and even I know this from watching like Superwoman and stuff, that their
Mm,
CGI has never really been like amazing, and I'm not going to berate them for that because it's like the second episode and they just started this
yeah.
up and they probably didn't have all the funding in the world to make it look super real. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty. Oof, like
It was bad, wasn't it?
yeah,
The whole I feel like the whole episode was looking a lot fresher than the pilot episode with like the lens flare turned down.
yeah,
And then it went to that scene. I was like, "Oh, there's a lens flare. Oh, there's
yeah,
the CGI."
yeah. I couldn't live with the CGI animals and stuff, but when they did that, I was like, oh, that's
Yeah, it
yeah,
was a bit painful.
yeah.
But
Anyway, you were
what did
saying.
you think of Raven?
I mean, from the there's the the brief look we got of her. She seems cool. Um, when she was taking off her spacesuit, I thought she was just going to get naked, and I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "Jesus!"
Whoa.
I was like, "What is she doing?" But then, no, she's cool. I think she's a very cool character. I'm excited to get to know her more, and obviously she's going to be very integral to the plot, or
Mm,
some of the plot line. And it feels pretty obvious that she's going to, be very important to the mom character as well. I feel like they're going to have like some they're going to really probably like I don't know maybe bond or at least get along well. I feel like they both got reasons why they want to be getting down to the earth, so that's going to kind of I think really like entangle
mm.
them together in the story at least. So it'd be interesting to see
Yeah.
how that goes.
I am making a prediction right now that I think you are going to fall in love with Raven, and I
I
think
already
she's
am.
going
I
to
mean,
be your
I
top character.
she's took her top off, and I was like, whoa. Like,
Okay, I'm invested. But that's 2 episodes in a row now. First Octavia and now
yeah,
Raven. They're
they know
spoiling
they
us.
they know what they're doing. I guess
They know their audience.
they're probably like, well, like we need the male audience or straight audience. I don't know. I should say really, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, they really are enticing in people. I guess certain people that like
With
that certain that
skin.
with the eye candy. I guess I don't know, but no, it's cool. She seems cool. Genuinely like has a good character. I like that she kind
Mm.
of tried to go behind the scenes of the ship to get answers. Like she wasn't taking any kind of crap from
Yeah.
anyone. She's very clearly very courageous, very resourceful, can think on her
Mhm.
feet. And she's gonna not let anyone kind of get in her way when she wants to get something done, and that's cool. So
Yeah. I love what you said there that she was like sneaking in, searching for answers because the irony of it is that she actually then gave them answers.
yeah, she
Like
was. I
she
mean,
they're taking them off. Of course they
I,
are.
I still think I still think it's ridiculous that they didn't even like have that as a thought. Like like no one even prompted that. Like maybe they're taking them off for some reason because like that's so obvious because like you know some of them came off and then some of them didn't and then a few more
Mhm.
came off and then some of them did. And it's like well clearly it's not radiation because then they just all die. Like that's not like radiation doesn't just be like well let's kill these three now and then wait a day and then kill these three and then because
Yeah.
even in this episode, by the end, they were still taking off like a bunch of those bands. Like there was still, a
Mhm.
handful of people coming up and taking them off and everything. So I can almost understand it if like the minute they got off, like 60 of them
Died.
died, and then they'd be like, yeah, there is probably something down there that's killing them. But they didn't take them off the minute they came off the ship. They did
Mhm.
eventually take them off eventually, and only a few of them. And I don't know that, yeah,
There's
that
no
seems,
spikes in their vitals or anything, and, like,
yeah,
the doctor
exactly.
keeps claiming that she knows how radiation would present in
Oh
vitals, but
yeah,
does she? Because she even started thinking herself that it could be
yeah.
radiation at one point, and it's like,
Doesn't
mm,
yeah, it doesn't
mm.
yeah. Mm. But yeah, it just seemed funny that she said that, and I don't know how I feel about kind of her believing Raven so quickly as well. I don't know.
She just wanted to believe that they
She,
weren't
like,
dying.
yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, um, just because like they had only really just met, and then suddenly she's like, well, yeah, this is what's going on. And he's like, oh, okay, right, yeah, but I mean, it seems obvious really to us, I guess, but
Yeah, we're watching it, so
yeah, yeah, but I do feel like it would have come up in some regard. I feel like someone would have said like, well, what if they're just taking them off, or someone's forcing
yeah,
them to take them off, or something like that. I don't know. Just and like if this mission was so paramount to their survival, why didn't they equip them with cameras, and why didn't they let them communicate back to this ship? Like, why isn't
yeah.
there like why does there no like, well, hey, what happens if they need to communicate something to us, or we want to see what's going on there? And I feel like they really didn't think about this whole saving people plan.
Saving the mankind.
Yeah.
They did. I think in the first episode they did send them down with a radio in the dropship, which I think
Oh, did they?
exploded on the way down, which is what Monty's
Okay.
trying to fix.
Yeah.
But still, like, you would come up with backups. You'd have like your
Yeah.
wristband, your radio, like you say, cameras would be the
Cameras
ideal
would
one.
have been ideal. I mean, I guess you can't really get video feed from a different planet to a space station. Maybe maybe you can. I don't know. I mean, I
They
guess
did
technically
radio.
they've technically done that, right? Like in real life now, haven't they? Because they used to.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure with astronauts having like video feed of like being well, if you believe in the moon landing, and you're not one of those
You
people.
can see the strings.
Yeah, yeah, but you know what I mean. Like I feel like they could have. I don't know. I feel like yeah. There's
They could have
again
done more.
going back to the first what I said about the first episode. You can point plot holes out all day long, but you gotta take what you
Mm.
can, haven't you?
Like, talking of these wristbands, plot hole that I noticed. Do you know what I noticed?
What?
Clark in episode 1 was wearing her wristband on the same wrist that she wears her watch. In this episode, her watch is on the other one.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, there we go. I mean, that yeah, there is some continuity error there. Yeah, and then obviously we, like you said last time or last episode, we've been missing the friend of the mother on the spaceship.
Oh, yeah. See, I forgot about her
Yeah,
until you just mentioned it.
yeah,
Even though
she's
I was
gone.
the one that told you that
Yeah,
you never see her again.
no, she's out. Bye
Yeah, no
bye.
one seems to miss her, so I guess it doesn't matter.
And then there's just all these new characters on this ship that are like these council members that we haven't been introduced to at all. Like I was like, who are all these like old people that are like profoundly important to the station? Apparently, like
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're all like maybe founders of the station, or they maybe have different skills that are paramount to the station. Like I don't know, like maybe one of them rules over like
Hmm.
one side of the station, another one has like a area that they look after.
Yeah, see, without going into like too many spoilers, because you'll find it all out eventually. I can't remember if the council is formed of people from like different areas or whatnot, but I know the space station in general consisted of like 12 or 13 different um stations, I guess.
Yeah,
And then they like come together
it does.
as one, which is why they all, this is their explanation of why they all speak English.
Right.
Why is there no, like, this is all meant to
Yeah,
be people from all across the world?
yeah, I didn't think of that. Yeah,
Because I believe the stations, like, there was meant to be like one from America, one from Asia, one from Europe, one from Australia. Like, they were all meant to like have gone up and then joined together at the Arc station or whatever. So
yeah,
I don't know if that's maybe where the council originally came
yeah.
together.
Because did they even mention the existence of a council in the first episode?
No, you just know that Jahar, or Thelonious, what a name,
Yeah,
um, is basically, I guess, their president. Is that what the chancellor? Chancellor, that's what they call him.
yeah,
But yeah, they don't mention a council as such. I guess you sort of assume because you have
yeah,
him as the chancellor and then Kane, who's his stand-in when he's
yeah. I mean, I
out
was
of
under
it.
the full understanding that it was just ruled by one councillor person, and then you have your little second in command, and then that's kind of the chain of it. I didn't know it was like a sort of a round table of different leaders that all decide and vote on things, sort of. Uh, like
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, I assume we'll learn more about those characters. But that whole council thing did kind of come out of left field. I wasn't expecting that to be how they decide things and stuff. But
But what about that decision that
yeah,
they're trying to make?
it's quite a hefty one, and they're all quite willing to just cut off a lot of people. I get it, but it's like I said to you during the episode, it doesn't really feel like a viable choice. I mean,
Hmm.
at best you're giving yourself a few extra months, but what does that really give you? If you're completely ruling out Earth as a possibility, then you've got no options and you're just going to die anyway.
You're gonna die eventually. Why
So
prolong it?
yeah, like either you're just making yourself way more like mentally unstable probably by just letting a load of people die and dealing with the fallout of that, because obviously the remaining few people are still going to be pissed at you for making that choice, and they're going to probably
Kick off.
kick off at you all, and then you've also then got to deal with just trying to survive on the air for another 3 months or however long they said it was going to give them, and then yeah, it just feels like you're making a lot more worse. Like I would be spending my time figuring out how we can still live rather than like, well, they say we need this long to fix it, and they're is that what? Because is that why they're doing it? Because they said we need more time. Like,
Yeah. So well, I think that obviously Abby's thinking, the doctor's thinking is that I need more time to figure out if Earth is survivable so that we can all go down and no one has to die. Maybe the odd person will die of like oxygen
because
um
because I mean, are they saying
deprivation.
like if they have killed all these people, then they could have somehow fixed the problem of oxygen and then like is that because
Yeah.
if that's what they're saying, then I guess I can get that.
Yeah, well they're saying if they reduce the population then there's not going to be so much usage and therefore but they're like you say eventually they're going to run out, like even if they kill everyone apart from them that's going to buy them what, a few years.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
just it makes, I think, by Jahar not making a decision, he made his decision.
yeah.
He basically chose the doctors. He trusts her that Earth is survivable.
Yeah, and I think when she came to the council at that point that they're all taking them off, he seemed to kind of buy that whole idea behind it.
I
I think.
don't I don't know if he actually like bought it or if it was similar to like what I said when you said about Abby just believing it. If he just wanted to believe it because of his son.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, it
Bless
might
him.
just be like some false hope that he's just trying to hold on to, right?
Yeah, but his son
Yeah,
is alive, so
yeah, yeah.
he's
He
made
is.
the right choice.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's a big decision, and
it
I
is.
sort of oh, I don't want to spoil things,
Yeah, yeah.
but like you've got characters in that council that like are quite important characters and become like quite liked, and it's same on the ground with like Bellamy.
Hmm.
He's the bad guy, isn't he, at the moment?
Yeah,
He's being
massively.
portrayed as the bad guy,
Yeah, he's
which
like.
I think came out of nowhere again this episode. Like I know he was a rebel in season one, like didn't want them to come down, blah blah blah. But it sort of escalated between first episode and now so quick. Like suddenly there is this anarchy going off,
Yeah, yeah,
and he's got right hand men and
yeah, yeah.
what?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. It does feel a bit silly because it's like, he's like, oh, no rules, do what we want, but then there are these like rules. It's like you have to take off your armband if you want to eat. You have to like follow what I say, or I'm gonna do this to you and all this. And I don't know. It's like it does feel a bit silly that everyone would just like blindly follow this like one guy that like no one's really. I don't know. I feel like
Mm.
some people would be like, well, what if we just don't do that?
Yeah, what if they all just listen to Clark and
Yeah,
Finn
exactly.
and just
Yeah,
like there's no rules? I thought there was no rules and just
yeah.
eat your cougar, leave your wristband on.
Yeah, just I feel like it would be a bit more believable if like some people followed him and then like some people went with Clark and there was like a bit more of a divide there. That would be interesting. But it feels like there's like two or three people on Clark's side and then like, everyone's like not really listening to her at all, and she's just kind of like the only voice of reason that no one's really paying attention to
Mm,
in that group,
yeah.
more or less.
So I know last episode you said like Clark is the smart one and she's the only one like she's like the one speaking sense. After this episode, how are you feeling about her? Because she is our Aussie babe. She's our main
I'm
character.
still completely on the board with her. She did the right thing to go
Hmm.
after, our friend, that goggles man. I forgot his name. What's
Jasper.
Jasper? We went and got Jasper, and I thought, that's great, that's courageous of her. And even though no one was really going to do it, she still made the effort to do it.
Mhm.
Because obviously, was it Bellamy that went with her?
Yeah.
Um,
Bellamy went with her, yeah, and,
yeah,
Wells, Finn,
Wells and Finn
Murphy.
and yeah.
Yeah.
I see what they're trying to set up with. Um, is it Bellamy and Wells, and how he was like, oh, she doesn't see you
Mm.
and everything, and it's like, oh, okay, I can see where that's going. It's going to be a bit of a like, oh, I need to like show my my prowess of like a man to her, so she sees me kind of like, and that's what kind of drove him to
Shoot the
jump in
cougar.
and shoot that
Save the
cougar. Where
day!
the hell did he get that gun though? Like, and how did he not notice? Like, that was. I was like, whoa,
I know, because that gun was very clearly touching his skin when he showed
yeah.
Clark his
I
gun
would have.
earlier.
I think I would have appreciated like a scene maybe if like maybe he tripped over and like I don't know he
Grabbed
like
it or
grabbed
something.
it like whilst he was getting up or like something like that, because I was a bit like, how the hell would if he'd like done that without him knowing? Like, that's ridiculous. Or like,
Mhm.
yeah, something like that. And like I don't really know what his plan was with grabbing that gun, because he was obviously at some point going to notice it's gone and be like, what the fuck, who's took my gun? Like, like I don't really know what his game plan there was, whether he was planning on shooting Bellamy with that gun or something. I don't know, because
Yeah,
he obviously didn't take it to shoot the cougar. He didn't know about the cougar, so like he had that gun for some sort of
a
reasoning.
reason.
So
I
it
I
does
like
make you
to
think.
think it was because he was worried that Bellamy might use it, and he took it so he couldn't, is what I
Yeah,
like to
yeah.
think.
I mean, yeah. In a perfect world, hopefully that would be the case, because if he knows what he's willing to do to get everyone off the grid, really, with the arm wrists, and he probably thought, oh, maybe he's gonna threaten her to take it off, or he'll shoot her. Which I thought was going to
Yeah.
happen when he had her over the pit. I thought he was going to be like, I'm going to let go if
Mm,
you don't promise to like take your wristband off or something.
that hesitation.
Yeah,
It's
because
like he wasn't pulling her up, was he?
no, and then it had to you had to get the others to pull her up to really do it, and I thought,
Can't
Christ.
kill Clark off in episode
Well,
2.
no, I mean, yeah, she's got armor times 1,000, basically. She's not going anywhere at least for a good while, unless this
So,
show goes crazy. I don't know.
oh, well, you never know with this show,
Yeah,
because there was no deaths in this episode.
no, no, but a lot happened
This
still. It was a very
Oh,
packed
yeah,
episode.
so much happened. However, no deaths. This is one of only 3 episodes in the entire show where there are no deaths.
Wow, that's a
Yep.
really interesting fact. Is that within this season, or are you talking about the entire show?
The entire show,
Wow,
7 seasons, there's only
Jesus.
3 episodes, and that does include, like, maybe, like, there's, a fight maybe off screen that we don't see, but we see the dead bodies after.
Yeah, so like
Like, oh,
off-screen
yeah,
characters and deaths and
not
things like that.
major deaths, but there
Still though,
I
like
mean, there's a lot of
that's
death.
that's really saying something, because that makes me think I've really got to strap myself in for quite a wild ride
Mm.
going
But
forward.
the reason I ask about Clark is because I noticed in this episode how, while she's speaking sense, and I 100% agree, and I like to think if I was in that situation, I would be thinking the same way, is bloody hell, she's such a killjoy. I want her to have fun.
Yeah, she is quite. I mean, she is in a sense. Yeah, she doesn't really like when she did let her hair go down a little bit when she jumped in the water.
Oh, she enjoyed that.
She did enjoy the splash. A bit too much.
A bit too much, yeah.
As we've picked up on going forward. I wonder if that'll be a recurring theme of each episode. She enjoys something too much.
Facial
Um,
expressions. Oh
yeah,
boy.
expressions. She's like, "Oh yeah, this is great." Right, well, but yeah, I mean, I get it, because she didn't really let her hair down much. But then again, she was literally going out there to save someone's life, and it probably was like a time is of the essence kind of thing. But
Yeah, and I think we're still actually on day 1 as well.
yeah, because I was wondering how much time had passed, because
But they landed, didn't they?
yeah, there's
And then
definitely been a day. I feel like, because there was a scene at night when there was some scene at night.
they left, didn't they? They left at night, I think, in the first
Yeah,
episode. So it'd be the next day now. So it's
yeah,
got to
because
be like a 24-hour period.
the night scene was when everything went all glowy. They were in that glowy forest bit in the first episode.
Yeah.
that was that night. So it's
Hmm.
probably been like a day or two. I don't know, but yeah, I feel like it's going to get to a point where you can't really keep a track of that kind of thing. Like you're not really going to be able to tell like how many days, because I mean, it's probably not really important to the show, because otherwise they'd tell you. They'd be like day 5, day 7, or like she'd be doing her like internal monologue, at the start of the episode. Like, it's been 7 days, kind of, like she did at the
Once
start.
I was 7 years
Yeah.
old.
But no, I think it's I think I agree that she's a bit of a killjoy. But then I also do see why she was quite focused on getting this particular task done and getting her friend back to the base.
Yeah, she doesn't want anyone to die
No.
because she couldn't save her father.
Oh yeah, yeah, that happened, didn't it? Yeah, they kind of explained why she was so determined
Mm,
to get him back because of what happened to her father.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
good.
a thing that got me was when Bellamy was like trying to convince people to take the wristbands off and was like, "Oh, when they come down here, they're not going to forgive you, blah, blah, blah." He said, "We are not prisoners anymore." And I'm like, mate, you weren't a fucking prisoner.
Yeah.
You weren't
Well,
locked up. You're
no.
here out of choice.
Yeah, like you chose to break that rule and shoot. Well, and yeah, I mean he because was everyone else a prisoner? Was every single other person a prison
Yep, he
inmate?
snuck
Yeah,
on.
he snuck on, but everyone else was.
Yep. So
So I guess yeah, I do
he's
get why people are following him. I guess
he's
because
trying to be
makes sense.
relatable, isn't he? But like, we're not prisoners anymore. But it's like, while you're trying to be relatable, you're also not relatable. You don't know that what those
No,
guys went through.
no, you don't. It's quite shitty, really, what he's doing. He's quite yeah.
Yeah, I think when I look watching like later episodes, you sort of forget what happened in season one. So now rewatching it, I'm like, oh my god, what a wanker! How did you end up
Yeah.
where you ended up? Like, what a douchebag! But then I think, I guess, bigger and badder baddies arrive, like the
Well, yeah.
Grounders
We
are
got a bit
now
of
a bigger threat than Bellamy.
yeah, the grounders are looking pretty scary. If what we saw at the end there was one of them, I'm guessing it was.
Hmm.
They're looking pretty spooky, man. I was quite impressed with their design, the way they look. I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting like, you know, just like a crazy hairy old man or something like, get out of
Caveman.
here. Yeah, yeah, or something like that. But he looks like just I don't even know, like something out of Alien versus Predator or something. Looked quite
He did look
like
cool.
creepy. But very cool at the same time. Very intrigued to learn about the Grounders. I like the name for them as well. It's quite good.
Came out of
Yeah,
nowhere. They just plucked Grounders out,
yeah,
didn't
they
they?
did, didn't they? They were like they didn't have a deciding vote on that. They were just like they're Grounders. That's what they're called.
So what are they? Sky people.
Yeah, I guess Skyers,
Spacemen.
Skylanders.
But yeah, so spoiler, but not
Yeah.
spoiler. Obviously by the time this comes out, the artwork will be out anyway. But obviously
Mm,
you've seen the artwork so
I
far.
have. Very impressive.
Your makeup is based on that grounder.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see that now. Now that I've seen him and I
Now
see the
you've
art,
seen him,
I
you
can I
know.
can see. Now I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And what's yours based off? Is that a spoiler if you
that
tell
I
me that?
can't tell you that. You're not
Right.
gonna meet them until season 2, I don't think.
Jeez. Okay. Right. So we got a ways to go.
Yeah, you got a while to go. But
Cool.
yeah. So next episode is called Earth Kills.
Mm.
So this one was Earth Skills, and the next episode is Earth Kills.
Can I quickly give my out of 10 rating on this
Oh
episode?
yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah. Out of 10.
I,
Let's start.
I'm
This is a thing now.
yeah yeah. So let's say first episode, I'm gonna give that. I'm gonna say that is a 7 out of 10.
Yeah. Not bad.
It
Not
loses
bad.
points for the crazy lens flare, the cheesy beginning, the monologue that you mentioned, and um, yeah, some of the acting and stuff in that first episode was kind of, but this episode gets, I think, a very strong I'm gonna say I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I think it was pretty.
Ooh,
I was up there for me. I was very impressed with it.
that
I
makes
rather
me
enjoyed it.
happy
Yeah.
because if you're rating these ones like 7 and 8 or 8 and 9, whatever, out of
Mm.
10, what the heck are you going to rate them when they start getting juicy? Which I think is
Juicy.
next episode is a
Yeah.
juicy one.
What's your rating?
Um, I'm basing them off of like now, like I'm not thinking about what's to come. So as a pilot, I would say it as a pretty solid when I first watched it. It kept me watching it. So I think I'd agree with a solid 7. It's not bad enough to
Not
go
terrible.
towards
No.
5, but it's not.
Like it's a show that if I were to watch that pilot, I would want to watch the next episode.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what a pilot should do. It should be an episode that you makes you then watch the next episode.
Yeah, I
If you watch
agree.
a pilot and you're like, I don't want to keep watching this, then it's failed as a pilot. Really.
I think for episode 2, do you know what? I'm not gonna rate it as highly as you.
Okay.
I'm gonna go a solid 7.5 because
Oh.
I think it was just while like you say it's really good that there's just so much going on, it doesn't waste time, you don't sit around bored. I think it was a little bit too messy.
Too
Just a
much.
smidge messy, and it could
Yeah.
have been tidied up
Maybe a
a
little
little bit nicer.
bit too many like plot lines going
Yeah, like
in at once, maybe.
you've got are they gonna float 200 people on the ark?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
Raven gonna fix the thing? And who's her
Yeah.
boyfriend on the ground? Also,
Yeah.
is
You.
Clark gonna fall in love with Finn? Or is Bellamy gonna get everyone's wristbands off? And who
Yeah.
are these grounders?
And then you've got the love scene happening with
Yeah. Oh,
what's the name?
Octavia.
We didn't even talk about that, to be fair, with that whole
Well, she's still there with her eyebrows.
yeah, she's still there with the eyebrows. They had another, I don't know if this is going to be a theme, but they had another glowy forest scene where she stupidly just starts following a butterfly. I'm so sorry, I have to bring this
It's
up,
because
but
she's young, she's
she's just like,
small.
oh, it's a butterfly, I gotta follow it. Like, oh my god, I just think like, if it was like, I don't know, man. It was so funny, and then yeah, and then who's the guy? I cannot remember his name. The guy that she goes and snogs for like
Oh,
2
Atom.
minutes. Atom.
Atom. It sounds like Adam because
Oh my
Americans can't
god,
say their T's.
Atom. Okay, well,
Atom.
the Atom and has a good snog sesh with her and around the butterfly forest. Yeah, again, I think like yeah, you got that plot line and
There's a
that
lot.
felt like that all happened so fast. Like it felt like they just met, and then they had like one scene where they were like, "I'm no one's bitch," and then they were like,
In
"Oh, you
love.
can't." In love, that's all it takes. I mean, Christ, I wish that's how quick it worked in life.
Oh,
That doesn't work.
Owen.
um, but no, they've. Oh, and then they get caught, don't they? By the end, they get caught
Oh,
and he
yeah, and they
gets
tie him
strung
up.
up. I was like, Jesus, right?
That's what happens when you make a move
Yeah.
on a 16-year-old.
Wow. Yeah. It does. Yeah, it's quite sus. Yeah, because he's 18, right?
Well, I guess he would be 17,
Okay,
technically.
that's not so bad then.
Yeah,
That's I guess it's only a year older, so yeah.
we'll allow it.
Um, I'll allow it. Well, apparently Bellamy won't, but there we go. But yeah, no, so yeah, you've got that, and you then the main plot point of going out for the rescue mission happened,
Yeah, it's,
and all that.
it's just a lot. So I
It's a
can't
lot.
give it I can't give it a solid because it's too much for my brain.
Yeah, that's fair. It could do with being a bit tidier. You have got a point there.
Yeah, but for as far as episodes 2 goes, yeah, it's good. I like
Yeah,
it. I like it a
yeah,
lot.
I like it a lot too.
But Earth kills. What's going to happen?
Earth kills. I mean, there's going to be some deaths. I think there's we ended on another. I wouldn't say cliffhanger, but kind of stinger of like, oh, who's this guy spying on everyone? And I think whether or not it will be the grounders or not, but maybe some sort of animal might come into the
Mm.
camp and start killing, or they may. What I think might happen is like they might start kind of killing them off one by one, or start sort of
Mm.
trying to scare them or something. Because it to me the grounders don't feel like instantly bloodthirsty. Like they did throw that spear, but they didn't kill him, and they didn't then let him die. They just strung him up and put this like thing on his wound and seemingly fixed him up a bit.
Yeah,
Because they could have.
were they hunting them, or were they hunting that cougar? Like, did they know
Yeah,
the
that's the
cougar
thing.
would
That's the thing.
come?
I think they're trying to like use them, or they don't just want to kill them. Because I think if that was the case, they could have started throwing spears left, right, and center like much sooner. They could have
Hmm.
done more. I think there's, but they're clearly trying to do something with the kids. So I think we'll either start seeing like maybe some disappearances or like murders or something, but like on like a small scale. Like it won't be like we've just lost 60 people. Like I think it's going to be like one person's missing and then another person goes missing and such and
Yeah,
such and such. I think that might be what starts happening.
yeah. I think the grounders are probably a lot more intelligent than maybe
Yeah,
what some people think.
they've got a definite game plan for whatever they want to do with the 100 guys, and I don't really know what it's going to be. I think your theory of them hooking him up as a bait sort of thing for an animal
Hmm.
does make sense, because technically that animal would try and kill him and then fall in that trap
Yep,
and die, and they'd have a free meal. So that checks out. So maybe that's kind of what they're going for. Because I think if they wanted to kill him with that spear, as in like a kill shot, they would have um,
they could have done it.
like they said, yeah, they could have done it. They could have gone straight for the heart. He would have died instantly, and that would have been it. But they drug him. They dragged him off. They kept him alive,
Hmm.
and there was obviously a reason for that.
I think it also depends how many grounders there are.
So
Because if
yeah,
there's like
yeah,
just that one that you see at the end, then they're not gonna like go and bloody kill them all in one go, are they? Like it's just not possible. But if there's an
no,
army of them, then maybe we'll start to see a bit more. But who knows? Well, I guess
yeah,
we're just gonna have to find out next time.
yeah, yeah. We'll
But
find out next time. Excited,
yes, until then though, remember life is about more than just surviving.
and may we meet again.